Hello, in this video I'm going to be going through the key steps in how to solve a quadratic equation. In this video I'm only going to go up to using the formula and I won't be completing the square. I have that one in a later video. So whenever we're solving a quadratic equation, these are the steps and our thought process that we need to follow. First of all, let's make sure our equation equals 0 is in the correct form. Can we use a single bracket? If so, then do it. Is it a difference of two squares? And I have an example here of the x squared minus 25, which comes to x plus 5x minus 5. This is when we factorise, have a different sign in each bracket, and we square root each term. We then check, does it factorise into double brackets? Only if these steps 2, 3, and 4 we're not able to do we then go to the quadratic formula. The reason why is with practice, these top three end up being a lot quicker. Okay, I'm now going to go through these 4 examples where I will demonstrate how I use this and what I'm thinking when I solve. Okay, very first question. Does it equal 0? Is it in the right form? X squared minus 7x plus 12 equals 0? Yes, it is. Can I use a single bracket? Well, is there an x in all the terms? No. Can I divide all the terms by the same number? No. Is it a difference of two squares? Well, to be a difference of two squares, you only have 2 terms. We have 3. So does it factorise? So for me to do that, I always start off with this and then I decide whether it works or not. Okay, numbers that multiply to make 12. I have 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. Now these multiply to make a positive, but add to make a negative. That tells me the signs would be both minus. And I can see here the 3 and the 4 has to be the values that go into the brackets. That means I can now say x minus 3 equals 0. X minus 4 equals 0. So x equals 3. X equals 4. They are my 2 solutions. Let's have a look at the next one. Does our equation equal 0? No. Okay, I like to keep the x squared positive, so I'm going to take away 10x from both sides. I now have it equal to 0. Okay, step 1's done. Step 2, is there a common factor? Let's have a look. Yes, there is an x in both terms. Is there a number that's in both terms? We've got a 1 in front of the x squared and a minus 10. No, there's only number that goes into both of them is a 1. Okay, so when there's a 1, we don't bother taking the 1 out. But I can see there's an x in both. So I can do a single bracket factorization. I can now get my 2 answers as before by letting each part equal 0. So in this one, I get x equals 0 and x minus 10 equals 0. And this one, I have to just do that extra step. So I do get my 2 answers, x equals 0 and x equals 10. Let me just underline the ones above as well. Okay, let's have a look at the next one. Again, it doesn't equal 0, so I'm going to get it to equal 0. But I like my x squared to be positive, so I'm going to bring the other ones across this way. I'm going to take away the 5x, and it's plus 15, so take away the 15. Okay, could this be factorising? Now, we multiply to make a negative, so I've got different signs. All right, numbers that multiply to make 15 are 1 and 15 and 3 and 5. Can I create a 5 from them? The answer is no. So this means I cannot double bracket. So I now go on to the quadratic formula. Okay, a is the number in front of x squared, so a is 1. B, number in front of x, is minus 5. And c is minus 15. Okay, now we do need to have this formula memorized for the exam, but for the point at the moment, I've got it here just to help me. I'm just going to write it down because every time I write it down, it helps me remember the formula. Okay, so x equals, right, minus b. Now if we remember, that means the b changed sign. Plus or minus b squared, so this is when I used my brackets with the squared sign out in front, minus 4 times 1 times minus 15, all over 2 times 1. This is one of the reasons why we only use the formula when we can't factorise, because it does take a bit longer, and I have my calculator here ready. So remember, I'm going to type this in now. First time I type it in, I put the plus sign in. Almost made a mistake there. And our answer, and I'm going to go for 2 decimal places. So we've got one answer as 7.11. And then I'm just going to use my arrow, go back and change the symbol to a minus. And they are my 2 solutions. And we do that when we can't factorise. We use the formula. As you can see, it took me a little bit longer. I had a bit more to write. I always write this down because this gives me the marks I need in the exam. Okay, last one. Does it equal 0? Yes. Can I use a single bracket? Okay, is there an x in both terms like there was here? No, there's not. Is there a number I can divide both by other than 1? No. Okay, is it a difference of 2 squares? So for that I need an x squared. It has to have a minus, and for GCSE this number should be a squared number. In this case, yes. So this is a step 3. So I know when it's a difference of 2 squares, I have 2 brackets, an x at the front of both. One has a plus in, one has a minus in, and I square root the 49. I can now see that x plus 7 equals 0 and x minus 7 equals 0, and then I can get my 2 solutions. I hope you found that video useful, but now it's time to practice this thought process.